welcome back. Well. What an interesting week we have had. There are 3 stories that I want to do a little small talk about, and I am typically pretty unbiased in my observation and my perspective on things. I try to give, the benefit of the doubt a lot of times, but there are times that it just cannot be given. And 3 of these stories reflect that. One is about Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. The other story I want to chit-chat about is the teacher who had the students removing his braids. And lastly, Puff Daddy. Puff at it again. So Jasmine Crockett is a congresswoman that got into a little tete-a-tete, as they say, with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who in her most ignorant state of mind made a personal attack against Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett is African American, well-established, highly successful. Other than being a congresswoman, she is a lawyer. She's a public figure, for Christ's sake, and of course, a politician. They were in a meeting, Congress meeting, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a Caucasian woman, makes a side comment about Jasmine's eyelashes. Not only is the personal attack not warranted, it's unprofessional. Like, are you serious right now? You would say this on the floor of the Congress? I mean, that is just wild. It's just wild. So, but what I loved is that AOC came in and she stood with her other sister of color and she advocated for her and she spoke up for her, defended her, and all of this. Jasmine Crockett defended herself as well. And she hit back with a personal insult to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And while she wasn't the one who hit first, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is the Caucasian woman, went ghetto, low to the floor first. And so if someone pushes your button, you push it back. I get it. Because I'm like, hey, I know Michelle Obama said when they go low, we go high. But sometimes some people, when they go low, you got to hit the floor. Okay? And I'm not mad about it. So Jasmine Crockett also retaliated verbally in saying that, talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene's body shape, her bleach blonde hair. She hit back. But I wish she had not have. Not because it wasn't deserved, not because it wasn't warranted, but I just wish that she had held herself to the caliber that she is. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she acted the way that she is. And I believe that Jasmine Crockett retaliated out of character. And one thing that I wish that she would also, that someone would kind of pull her to the side about is her verbal presentation. Hey, I'm Black and I'm proud. I'm all about it. But I don't believe that a sister girl, what do I want to say? Like, her expression is real sister girlish sometimes. And I think just a little, quote unquote, media training will help her to not allow her buttons to be pushed in that way, that she responds in a way that is not like her character. And, and I'm not saying that she needs to appease any white people. I'm not saying that she needs to appease anybody at her job. I'm not saying that she needs to appease anyone but herself. But I want her to take the same route as Maxine Waters, Senator Nina Turner, Don Lemon, Michelle and Barack. I mean, there are tons of of other African Americans that sit in high places, that respond, that will read you down, but in a way that doesn't break their character. You cannot let them see, even if your weak space, the weakest link is a pinhead worth. They see the light that's coming through there, and they're gonna go for it every time. And one of the things that Taylor Greene said was, debate me. And I don't think she said that because she thought that Jasmine Crockett didn't have the ability, the know-how, the wisdom, or the knowledge to go toe-to-toe with her. But I knew that she was attacking her demeanor. I knew that she was attacking her demeanor. And that she knows that for any Black person, especially one that is established, and I don't mean that offensively, but if you're in a space where you can get challenged in such a way that that's a feather ruffler. It's a feather ruffler. And I just wish that, and Jasmine Crockett is a young woman. So someone needs to please take her under their wing and kind of get with her so that she is unruffled. Because she's great all by herself as she is, but just a little fine tuning in that area. You don't let them see you sweat. Never let them see you sweat. And that's where I think that could go. But she was right in having the space to retaliate and when she retaliated and said her personal attack on Marjorie, it didn't land well because the people in the room didn't even know what she was talking about. They couldn't really acknowledge it. And so is a read if it wasn't read? You know what I mean? So I want that sister to get strong in that area. More power to her. More power to her. She's doing a great job. Otherwise, she's doing a great job. But I want somebody to take her under their wing and get with her on that. All right. So next, this teacher that had these students taking down his hair in class. So now let's discuss this teacher who had students in his class removing his braids. I find it to be very, extremely, highly, exceptionally, and whatever other adjective that I could go, that is inappropriate. Not only should, I had a small stint of teaching years ago. I taught first grade and I taught fourth grade. And we were asked to absolutely not have person-to-person contact with the students. And it was difficult only because, children especially the first graders, they're really affectionate. And if they love their teacher, they hanging around your neck. They really are very tactile. So it's difficult, but you couldn't do it. Or you could do like a little church hug, around the side a little bit, 1, 2, pat, and keep it moving. But to have playing in your hair and taking your hair down, it's absolutely inappropriate. So the teacher that had students, first of all, and why did he put it online? I mean, obviously he didn't think he was doing anything wrong, I'm thinking. But he has been fired. And so there's this imbalance in thought between people. Like, some people think it was too harsh of a response. They thought maybe he should have gotten suspended, but he got fired. See, people don't always see the umbrella of a thing. If I went to my children's school just to check up on them, whether pick them up at the end of the day, come in, do a surprise pop-up visit like my mom used to do, to see how I'm progressing in class, how I'm doing, and I walked in and saw my child, whether it was boy or girl, braiding or unbraiding or playing in a teacher's hair when they're supposed, I would have turned the whole classroom upside down. I just don't think that, especially you look at the state of young people, like the younger generation today. Whitney said the children are our future. Who future? Because we in bad shape if that's the case. And they in your class taking your hair down? That's ridiculous. So the teacher put out a video where he actually sounds like he's doing a video for Quiet Storm, with this low kind of sultry, I guess trying to sound, non-problematic, gentle, or whatever. So he talks about how he had a hair appointment directly after school that day. And he was going to take his hair down the night before, but he didn't, because that same day, they were doing a promotional video at the school and he was being interviewed. And so he couldn't take his hair down. And so he told his students, like, hey, if you behave, if you're good, or if you pass, if everyone does well on this test, then you'll get free time. And so at the end of the day, they had an hour of free time, give or take a few minutes. And during that free time is when he had them take their hair, these young girls take his hair down. Now, there are some people, I don't personally think that there was any sexual connotation to what was happening, but there are some people who are saying that he was possibly grooming those young girls. I hope that's not the case. I'm not saying that's the case. But who knows, right? Who knows? And those people may be speaking from trauma or things that they've witnessed from others, because grooming is so insidious that it does happen very innocently, and then it progresses as time goes on. I don't want to insinuate that. I hate to label things, people and situations, when I don't have full facts. But even if none of that is true, it was inappropriate. There's a time and a place. And if you knew you had a promotional video to do and you wanted to show up, you should have made your hair appointment earlier in the week or the weekend before. You should have taken your own hair down. You should have made provisions to do that, because now it's all excuses. Because what I was going to say earlier, the umbrella is not that he had them taking his hair down. The umbrella of the situation why he probably got fired is because he wasn't doing his job. And then he did the job. The little that he was doing was inappropriate. And if he was a star teacher, and everybody can be a star, let's be clear, but if he was a star teacher, he might have gotten suspended. But the fact that not only there could have, I'm sure, because I don't even have children, and if I had children, they wouldn't have been in his class, because he's in a whole different state. But as visceral as I felt about it, I'm sure that the parents of the students in the class felt that way, and it's online. I mean, it's just too many things working against him in that scenario. And so it was a hard lesson learned, but I hope he learned it. Because there is absolutely no excuse for his behavior, or lack of behavior. Or if I had whether they were sons or daughters, if I had sons and they were braiding his hair, that would absolutely still be inappropriate. If they were braiding a female teacher's hair, I would have an issue with this, because that's not what you go to school for. And so he considers, these are my best friends. Those students are not your best friends, boo. They are not. And that's inappropriate for you to say. There are other terms of endearment that are not so personalized in a way that makes it inappropriate, especially because of the age difference. Wrong, wrong, wrong. I am not on the side of people who feel like he shouldn't have been fired. And I'm okay with my perspective. And I respect yours. So I'd love to know what you thought about that scenario. And I'd also love to know what you thought about the Jasmine Crockett situation. And now I want to transition into Puffy. Now, really, what more can we say? But those are famous last words, because not only did he get online and publicly say he is adamant about the things that are being said about him being lies, and he would never do this, and da 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 da, and turned around and what? A visual release that shows you doing the exact thing that you said you would. How could someone ever accuse him of such a thing? Now, what was shocking to me was, first of all, the video was shocking. My jaw dropped. And I thought I had seen it and heard it all, especially pertaining to him. I literally had a jaw drop. And I wish Cassie the absolute best. She appears to have an amazing husband, great support, beautiful. They've built a beautiful family together. And I am sorry that she has to relive this, but I hope she's in a healed enough space, especially since she is cooperating, and she kind of triggered all of his legal issues, which is a good thing. But I hope she's in a healed enough space, that having to relive this and have people commentate, and it's on the news. The video was shown on CNN and all this other stuff. Like, I hope she's at a place that she can hold that, because she's actually a winner and not a loser, not a victim. She's a survivor, and I hope she knows that. And I hope that's reiterated to her, that she's supported in that way. But I feel bad for her that she had to live through that. I'm happy she got away, because there are a lot of women who are physically abused that don't make it. And she did. And we saw the attempt of her trying to leave him, and what happened. And so people are like, oh, before this video, oh, it was a money grab. How come she didn't say something sooner? And this, that, which is, I feel, highly disrespectful to the victim. Because she tried to leave, and you saw what happened. And abusers, they mess with your mind first. That's why you have to have your mind strong, because that is where people attack. That is where they attack, and that's what you have to overcome. That's exactly what I was saying about Jasmine Green. Don't let that woman poke you to the point that it takes you out of who you are. She said that because she knows it would bother you, and it did. But I feel bad for his children, because most children, if not all, have their parents on a pedestal. And until you realize how human they are. But that doesn't mean that, that you still don't uphold them, but you understand them differently. But his children uphold him in a way like he is like superhuman, because he's a master manipulator. And his son Christian, the one who looks exactly like him, I think probably upholds him the most. Put out a little rap that was inappropriate, coming at people who are against his family and all of that. He's young, he don't know. He's older than I thought. He's 26, but he's old enough to know right from wrong. But if you have been taught that the wrong that you have seen is right for you, then you have a hard lesson to learn as well. Because there's no way that the people in Puffy's close circle, his assistant, his children, his mother, his close friends, have not witnessed this behavior. If he was that brazen to abuse her, because for anyone who hasn't seen the video, it shows Cassie in a hoodie with the hood up, with a little carry-all bag, looking like, I want to say allegedly, but she was trying to get away. It was obvious. I personally, you always say, well, I would have did, but I feel like I would have hit the stairs instead of waiting for the elevator. But she was leaving when he was asleep. When she left, he heard her and got up, and you see he was half dressed. He had on socks and a bath towel around his waist. He runs down the hall, grabs her by the neck and slams her to the floor and begins to kick her. Then he picks her up by the hood of the hoodie or her hair or something and drags her back down the hallway. There's a space in the hallway where there's like a little end table and chairs. There's vase, like, you know, the decor of the hotel. He picks up the vase and throws it at her. All of this is on camera. If you do that in the hallway, so brazen, you have done worse in public. Because there's a chance that other people who were occupying rooms on the floor could have come out, heard all of the commotion, witnessed this, called the police or called downstairs or something. He didn't care. He did not care. Talk about a monster. Talk about a monster. If you're upset with someone and they make you so enraged, wouldn't you be glad they were gone? Wouldn't you? Why would you chase them down, beat them up to bring them back to you? That makes no sense, other than you crazy. You sick in the head. You are sick in the head. And people kind of wondering, so like when Jay-Z and Beyonce were in the elevator and Solange unleashed her wrath on Jay-Z, you know, that video was released relatively quickly. And so people were wondering, like, how come this video is just not coming out? That's because he paid someone at first they were saying he paid the hotel. You can't pay the hotel $50,000. You cannot pay a corporation $50,000 to remove a video, because what is $50,000 to a corporation? Right? I'm thinking it was the manager that was on duty that night, the security, somebody who was an employee and was at work that night, who was, you know, surveillanced all of the video, who saw this happening. He paid them. And that person need to go straight to hell with gasoline draws on for allowing himself to be bought, him or herself, to be bought for $50,000 at the expense of someone's safety. Because what if Cassie had not made it that night? What if he had unalived her that night? For $50,000? Really? They say everybody got a price. And it's sad that that price, when it's someone's safety, someone's life, is not worth you foregoing that. That's just crazy. That's just absolutely crazy. So when I noticed that no one had opened the hotel, the other rooms on the floor, hearing all of that darn commotion. So I also heard that, you know, there are people who have money and they will buy out a complete floor of the hotel for what, I don't know for what reason, but obviously there is a reason why people do it, because it's done. And so there's a chance that nobody else was on that floor. But Diddy is done. He has put the nail in his own casket. Dug the dirt, threw the casket over in there, and is throwing the dirt back on himself. He is done. There has been not an ounce of remorse. And I wonder if Cassie's, I'm sure her legal team are the people who dug this tape up. And Puffy just posted a picture of him and his youngest baby, who has to be maybe 1 or 2 years old. You know, because there's some imaging that takes place with some celebrities, because now he's a good father, and just trying to change the narrative of what we have been hearing about him. And as soon as, you know, and there are people who just are loyal, blindly loyal to people, and they just won't believe the truth. And so he posted this picture of him and his daughter and was talking about how, love and all this other stuff. And boom, here comes this video of him abusing Cassie. And it just has to continue. And it just has to continue. I hope every card they have up their sleeve, bam, they break it down on him, because he needs to go down and out. He needs to go under the jail. There's a woman on Twitter named Coda Blue. I may be saying that Twitter handle, but she has been in the know. She's a socialite, and she met Kim. At first, she was acting like she was Kim Porter's friend, but she actually said she had only met her once. She was really nice, but I guess she knows people in the industry that knew Kim, and was talking about, like, if you thought the video that was just released of him abusing Cassie, you haven't seen anything yet. If you thought that was something, you have not seen anything yet. And talked about how he had brought Cassie in the home and used her race against Kim Porter, used Cassie to abuse Kim Porter the same way he's probably using Carisha / Young Miami against everyone else. Like, she's the prize now, and putting down and being degrading and disrespectful to Kim Porter, and had even used this. I don't know how true this is. I don't know if this woman, she has said some things in the past about some celebrities that people ignored and thought that she was crazy and just wildly out of her mind, that have come to pass, and they were true. So I don't know. I'm going to say allegedly, that in a scenario where Kim Porter was being abused, and this woman also believes that Puffy, just like a lot of people, believes that he had something to do with her passing. Said that he tried to make Kim Porter lick Cassie's tampon during one of his maniac episodes. Now that's disgusting, and that's degrading. But yet they acted like he was such a great man. But that's abuse. That's what abuse would do. It's the mind. You got to strengthen our minds. Strengthen our minds. I hope this is not another Biggie and Tupac situation where the legal, there's no resolve to it. It goes on 20 years before you start getting like bits and pieces of information and details to help solve this case. If you have the information, use the information, put this man under the jail. Let this key unlock everything that he has ever done that has been the demise and destruction of someone else. And I'm going on a limb and say, and deaths of other people. You can have too much, and he's evidence of this. Excess. He has so much excess in his life that he thinks he's God. He thinks he's higher than everyone else. I pray justice is served. Now, what say you? Let me know what you think down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for joining me. Ciao for now.